You know what's so special about the Bordeaux region? It has so many chateaus, and we're here at Phelan Segur, and it is just sensational. These grapes are being ripe for picking, and I'm going to have some. Oh my God, are they absolutely gorgeous? Oh, the flavor. They're right for me. Chateau Phelan Segur is a large chateau with beautiful grounds. They also produce delicious wines.
My name is Véronique Dos. I'm the director for Chateau Phelan Segur in Saint-Estèphe in Bordeaux. Tonight we're having quite a special vertical tasting of Chateau Phelan Segur between 2010 and the new baby 2016. So let's start with 10. 10 in Bordeaux in Saint-Estèphe was an exceptional vintage, and it perfectly reflects what we like in terms of classicism. It's a very intense, concentrated, bold wine with incredible soft and ripe tannins. It's a wine that has a lot of depth, which is very, very long. It's obviously a wine which is young to my taste, but doesn't mean that it's young to somebody else's taste. It's a wine that has the structure and the power to keep aging for years and years, 20 years, something like that. Very often in Bordeaux, we say that if you open a bottle that is 10 years old, you're never wrong. It's never too early, it's never too late, it always works. Now we also, with some vintages, not necessarily the 10, but maybe the 11 or more especially the 14, the 12 that we are going to taste later, we can drink them a little bit earlier. So something interesting about the 10 that we were just discussing is that the 10 was so powerful and so rich that until a few months ago, the aromas and even the taste was still focused on fresh fruit, very red, ripe, fresh fruit. Now it's turning a little bit, it's evolving towards more mature aromas. So it's starting to age, and it's going to the second step of its life. It's extremely complex. The nose is extremely complex. Of toastiness brought by the aging in new oak. We age our Grand Vin for 18 months, a year and a half, but only in 50% of new oak. So we take the tannins from the wood, it's French oak, but we don't add too many tannins. And that's why we are aging the other 50% of the wine in barrels that have been already used once for a new wine. So we use them when they are new for Phelan Segur, the part that is aged in new oak. We use them a second time, and then we use them for a third time for our second wine. For us, in Bordeaux, and especially when you're dealing with Grand Cru, the whole point is to evolve with the taste of people and what nature gives us. But the thing is that you express your terroir, your land, and your terroir doesn't really change. So that's why we tend to be classic by definition, but we are modern by how we use new technology, by how we listen to what the consumers, the amateurs, the connoisseurs tells us about how they like their wines. So we combine a little bit of both.
And also, what about the biodynamic?
Biodynamic, let's be quite clear for me. Here we are on the Atlantic coast. We are very, very close. We are approximately half an hour away from the Atlantic coast. It's very, very humid area here. It rains a lot. And biodynamics is a philosophy. It's a way of life. So either you totally, fully believe it, live with it, or you don't. To my point of view, when we take into consideration that there are aspects of the biodynamics system that are very extreme, plus the fact that we are under a very oceanic climate, it makes two factors that for me make biodynamics difficult here at Phelan Segur. I fully respect people who are very successful with biodynamics, but you know, it has to be, it's if you believe in it, that's perfectly fine. If I go and tell my team in the vineyard that they have to wake up at 5 in the morning on that day because they have to spread in the vineyard what we call a tisane, so I don't know the word in English, but a tisane, which is a herbal decoction, something like that. If I'm not 200% convinced, it's not going to be possible. So there are things in biodynamics that are very true, very interesting. If you go and visit Bérénice Lurton at Climens, you're going to love her because what she's doing in her vineyard with biodynamics is beautiful. But when you meet the lady, you understand that you will understand that she is biodynamics by herself. Okay, 14 is a very special wine for us because 14 is the vintage that has the highest percentage of Cabernet Sauvignon ever at Phelan. What happened in 14 here in France is that we had a very not such a good summer. August was quite, you know, not rainy but cold and not really sunny. And the real summer, it was not even Indian summer, it was a real summer, started 1st of September. And we had incredible weather, very sunny. People were swimming in the ocean in September, which never happens, you must say. And we decided to wait and wait. We were going into the vineyards. We had the level of sugar already. But by tasting the berries, we had the feeling that we could go even further. And it's a feeling, you know, it's a tasting, and so we waited and waited, and we knew that we could bring our Cabernet Sauvignon even to a better maturity. And we concentrate a lot, the berries concentrated. So we lost a lot of juice. But the Cabernet Sauvignon were absolutely incredible, and it shows. It's a very nice concentrated wine that has a lot of taste.
So the sugar in the wine is really from the fruit. There's no added. No, everything. Yeah. The sugar comes from the sun, and there's no sugar added. No.
It's very expressive.
Very expressive.
Are you talking about 14?
Yeah.
Yeah. It had,
Why didn't you pour 13?
Because if you want to taste one, it's easy. We are very proud of 13 here. Because first of all, in 13, which was a awful year, challenging from the beginning until the end, hopefully in 13, during the month of September, it rained a little bit less here than in the rest of the area. So it helped us really keep the berries as long as possible in the vineyards. So we did a lot of selection. We selected a lot with optical sorting machine and everything. So what we released was a very, I hate this word, but very decent Saint-Estèphe.
Our dinner was prepared by a private chef, and it was most appetizing and colorful. out in the kitchen and watching the chef prepare our dinner was another great experience.
Continued, and you never know, like at 10 miles, if they hadn't hit the Cuba the way they did.
Pamela, the point was that
Okay.
the whole story is that, okay, of course they were right to say, go away, be careful, go. Knew nothing about wine, nothing.
And now you know everything.
No, you never know everything in wine. Never. It's a life. It's a life. job.
The thing about wine is the more you know how much you
That's
don't know.
right.
I'm taking a long walk on the grounds, beautiful grounds. Chasing Wild Ass, oh, it's not what you're thinking. It's a narrative of my travel around the world. I have interspersed photos and aromatic recipes, which allows you to dream, discover, and rediscover these great destinations around the world. The title of the book came about while we were chasing jackasses in Kutch Wild Ass Sanctuary in Gujarat, India. And I thought that was a great title for the book. This is food for the soul. Not only does it allow you to dream, it's adventure, it's history, it's culinary, it's culture, with a sense of humor to spice it up. Chasing Wild Ass is a celebration of life. You have to live each day as if it's your last. Remember, my world is your world. So get up, get out, and travel! I'm so excited to be here at your new museum, and you have the best view. And this is Sylvia Kaz, the president of the association.
Yes, hello, yes, the president of the foundation, la Fondation pour la Culture et les Civilisations du Vin, which operates the Cité du Vin. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And what I love is the fact that the architecture is so spectacular. It's so modern, and it's right here on the river with a fabulous bridge view. I mean, it's just spectacular.
It was very important that it was on the side of the river because, first of all, because there can be a link with the center of the city and also a link with all the vineyards. Actually, we have a dock and we have boats coming from the Cité du Vin, going to the center of the city and going to all the different vineyards.
Which is fantastic.
And the river itself, the Garonne, has had a very important role in the history of the commercialization of the wines and, of course, in the life of the people.
And also, Bordeaux is really developed into a whole new city, and it's very modern. So when more people are coming here every day, it's wonderful. And the museum is crowded. Everyone comes to see the exhibition. I mean, it's just, wine, Bordeaux is just unbelievable. And being able to taste and understand the wine, and it's a great lesson, and I think that's what you offer here.
Well, Bordeaux has undergone a great revolution. Actually, 20 years ago, it was gray, it was dark, it was, people were not really happy, and we've had a great chance of getting a mayor, Alain Juppé, our mayor, who started in 1995 and who has completely renovated the city. Actually, he pushed all the people to clean their facades, so now we can find the stone, the blonde stone again. The sides of the river have been completely renovated. People stroll, walk, go along, run, and there's lots of people on the riverfront all the time. The cafes are now open, people go out at night, and people have gained confidence in their city, and they love their city. Actually, the city attracts a lot of people now, coming from a lot of places in France, especially from Paris.
Tell me more about the museum.
Well, the museum itself has been planned 20 years ago, a long time ago, in the mind of our mayor, and we managed to make it possible it took us 8 years, from 2008. And the idea to start with was to have a small museum on about Bordeaux wines and to explain the different regions and so on. But actually, the more we started talking about it, the more we thought that we had to really prove to the people, show to the people how great the culture of wine was and how diverse and how rich it is all around the world, not only in Bordeaux, but all around the world. So today, the museum talks about all the civilizations of wine throughout the world. Actually, the main part of the museum is a permanent tour where you have a presentation of all the facets of wine culture. 20 modules like the terroir, the landscape, the flavors, the meal associated with the wine, the history, of course, of the discovery of wine, going back to Georgia more than 6,000 years ago.
My God.
And all this you can discover in a modern way, very interactive, fun, easy to understand for everybody, young people to any kind of people who know about wine, people who don't know about wine. It was really important that we would show and experience. People can experience what the culture of wine is.
Well, you know, first of all, if you're not born into it, you know, it's really great education. And I think that this is what you're offering here. And I think everyone should come and see it for themselves.
That's what we wanted to say, that everybody could come and share this knowledge and share this pleasure of understanding how great how great it is to share all these wines.
Do you also have pairings here or wine tastings?
Yes, of course. So when you go to the 8th floor where we are now, you can have a glass of wine that you can choose among 20 different wines.
How fantastic.
Some from Bordeaux, but also some from around the world.
But do you pair them with anything or just a tasting of wines?
Here it's just one tasting on this floor, but we also have 2 restaurants, of course. And in these restaurants, there's a lot of pairing that is proposed.
Now tell me about the hours of the museum.
The museum is open at 10. It depends on the season, really.
Right, but is it every day?
It's every day, and it starts at 10, finishes at 7. Most of the time. I mean, in the winter, a little earlier.
That's a great opportunity for people to come out and to learn all about these wonderful wines and to see the spectacular views. And you know, and this, by the way, this floor, the 8th floor, is a 360. So you can see the town, you can see the river, you can see the new bridge.
Understand the area much better because you can see how the river really connects everybody, the city, the vineyards, all the different regions, because you can see them from the city.
I just heard about this virtual program that you have here. Tell me about it.
Yes, actually here we have a number of workshops that we propose to visitors. And one of them is very special. It's a multi-sensory workshop. Actually, you can have a tasting of a wine from one country.
Well, the building is so exciting. You know, just looking at it coming over the bridge. I mean, my God, I was impressed. I said, that must be the museum.
It's very special because the architect wanted to design wine swirling in the glass. And she says that it corresponds to the soul of wine. And actually, it really looks like as if it was in movement.
Yes.
And so I think she did a great job. Her name is Anouk Legendre.
Well, it's a fantastic building, and it's spectacular, and congratulations. Chasing Wild Ass. Oh, it's not what you're thinking. It's a narrative of my travel around the world. I have interspersed photos and aromatic recipes, which allows you to dream, discover, and rediscover these great destinations around the world. The title of the book came about while we were chasing jackasses in Kutch Wild Ass Sanctuary in Gujarat, India. And I thought that was a great title for the book. This is food for the soul. Not only does it allow you to dream, it's adventure, it's history, it's culinary, it's culture, with a sense of humor to spice it up. Chasing Wild Ass is a celebration of life. You have to live each day as if it's your last. Remember, my world is your world. So get up, get out, and travel!
So this is Chateaux Climens, a first-class vine growth of Sauternes, and especially of Barsac area appellation. It's one of the most prestigious estates of the region, first-class vine growth in 1855. And my name is Bérénice Lurton, I'm the owner and the manager of the estate. I've been there for 25 years, since 1992. And my father himself, Lucien Lurton, bought the estate in 1971. The Lurton family has been in the wine production in Bordeaux and now in many parts of the world for many decades and generations. And Chateaux Climens is a very special estate with a great personality, wines which are very well known for their elegance. And there's also a specificity is that the vineyard is only run under biodynamic methods.
I am so excited to be here at Chateaux Climens and my new friend. Tell me about this wonderful chateau.
Well, Chateaux Climens is a very, very unique place. First class growth of Sauternes, especially of Barsac, making the most elegant sweet wines and with a very special process, biodynamic. So you will see that in the vineyard and after in a very unique place which is called the tisanerie.
And can you explain what biodynamics means?
It's a totally natural, organic way of treating the plant in a way to prevent all the diseases and to help the vine find their own balance, their own strengths and develop their self-defenses. So I often compare it to Chinese traditional medicine because we use mainly minerals and plants to take care of the vineyard.
And these plants really have to search for water. They have long roots.
Here the vineyard, yes, have very long roots who go far, far, far inside the limestone, in the fissures of the limestone to find the water and the nutrients they need, but the poorest soils are the best for the vineyard, for the great wines. Mm-hmm. And in fact, Climens, in very, very old times, used to mean a barren land. So a place where almost nothing grows. And that was before it was transcended by the arrival of the vines.
How fantastic. This is a great education. Coming here to Bordeaux and discovering these beautiful wines. I mean, they're like heaven, the taste, you know, it's right here.
Sun in
and
a
the
glass
scent,
and paradise in your mouth. And,
yes.
and their perfumes, that's true, they're real perfumes.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Can you show me some of these herbs that you're using for the vines?
Yes, because we're going to go in a very unique place, big room called the tisanerie, where we store and dry the plants that we use for the vineyards.
Some of them can use for tea?
Yes.
How wonderful. And it's the bouquet. I mean, it's going to be a great experience. I can't wait.
Yes, a lot of scents in the tisanerie and also in the glasses when we'll be tasting the wines. I'm going to show you right now a very special room where we keep the plants. It's called the tisanerie.
Tell me about the process and what this room really means.
In fact, this is a very special place that we have called the tisanerie. Tisane being the word for it means infusion of plant. And in fact, for the biodynamic, we use a lot of different plants, like you see dandelion, marigold, chamomile. Marigold and chamomile, for example, are grown. Well, no, they grow naturally inside the vineyard.
Right.
And then you have yarrow, fennel, and the horsetail. And with these plants, we make teas, and we're going to spray them in the vineyard. In terms of prevention. It's like sort of traditional Chinese medicine, but for the vineyard.
But it's French.
Not really, but there are a lot in France.
Ah, that's fantastic. And how did you come up with this idea?
Well, it started a few years ago. We started in 2010, and we had really the example of Château Pontet-Canet in Pauillac, where they did that before us, and we saw that it worked very well.
And you adopted it.
Yes, we wanted to go into something very natural, and that we thought that was a good way.
And
and
it's
it's great fun
biodynamic,
too.
right?
It's biodynamic.
Right, yeah, which is wonderful. Now talk about some of these various flavors, I guess you'd call them, like chamomile, as a matter of fact,
So
and marigold.
the chamomile, you can, you have to just smell it. It's wonderful.
Oh
It
my.
grows naturally into the vineyards, and we pick it, we dry it, and after we make teas and we spray it in the vineyards. So
How wonderful.
So now we're in situation tasting the wines from Chateaux Climens. So we started by Phelan Climens, which is our second wine, a second selection of the blending, and now this is Chateaux Climens. And we're going to taste this wine, which has such a wonderful bouquet, so many different flavors, and such a great elegance. And we are going to be able to show its versatility by tasting it on a whole dinner with many different kind of food.
The dinner at Chateaux Climens was relaxing and delicious. This has been such an incredible meal. My heart is full. I'm thinking of all the love that's been put into this meal and the fact that the wines, pairing them with the different courses, it's fabulous. How can my friends come and share this experience?
Well, the good news is that now wine lovers can come to Climens and not only have a visit of the cellar, of the vineyard, of the tisanerie, but they can also have a little vertical of the wines with amuse-bouche, and they also have the possibility to come for lunch and have a food and wine matches wonderful moment with in collaboration with Maison d'Arros, which is the first one-star Michelin restaurant just near here in Langon. So it's possible for anybody who wants to come here, who loves great wines and great food, to try this very unique experience.
But they have to make a reservation, I'm sure.
Of course they have to. We're not a restaurant, so it's very private, and you have to reserve before, of course.
It's a unique experience.
That's it.
You know, shall we toast
Of course.
as a celebration
Thank
for a
you for
great
coming.
evening? Enchanté. I hope you had as much fun as I did here in Bordeaux. Bordeaux is where you get the best wines, the best sunshine, you know, everything blossoms. And what's better than great wine? Until next week, I'm Jon Haggins, a GlobeTrotter. I'll see you then. Hope to see you next week at another colorful destination. So long for now.